Hello, hello. So I started recording, then I stopped because my voice sounded weird. And then I started again, and then I stopped because they started doing lawn work on the neighbor's yard and was so loud. So here I am going to start again, and let's see what happens. Hello, hi everyone. I have missed you. I've been out for a month? Holidays and whatnot. Kid wasn't in school. I gotta watch my child. Otherwise, she could hurt herself. Then we all got sick. First, me and Quinn got sick. Then everybody left to go to Colorado. We hung back for a few more days because we were super sick. Then we traveled to Colorado. We made it. But then we got home and everybody else got sick, and it was just like this big thing. Everybody was sick on Christmas. Sucks. Winter sucks. I just don't. You hear so many different theories. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like terrain theory or germ theory and all the things. And like terrain theory, it states that as long as your terrain is good, you probably won't get sick. And if you do, it's not that severe. I can see that. But as far as saying germs don't exist, I really don't know. They go as far as to say germs and viruses aren't real, that your body is just detoxing when it's sick. I do believe it's detoxing. That's why you feel so much better and lighter after you're sick. But I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced yet. But of course, I'll experiment and I'll let you all know. But we got to get the terrain back in order, and girls and boys, it is not. So that's going to be a different journey. Anyways, I hope you all are doing well. Everybody's on the mend here, although Quinn did sneeze and had a little stuffy nose this morning. And I don't know, she seems kind of quiet, but hopefully it's nothing. I'm going to say it's nothing, but she's just cold because it's cold here again. So annoying. Texas weather has issues. Let's just put it that way. Major mood swings. But anyway, I think it's about to be February is usually the coldest month. So we'll see. I don't know. Winter's not my fave here. And I used to think it was because it's cold. No, it's the inconsistency. It's the fact that it's cold one day and hot the next. I don't like it. My daughter wants to wear dresses every single day, and you can't wear dresses when it's 30 degrees outside. So then that's just an extra battle that I have. But, that's toddler life too. But that brings up the point I want to kind of talk about. Maybe it's a little rant, maybe not. I don't know. But I did get a little annoyed. So I'm having dinner with, the love of my lives, Quinn and her father. And we're just sitting and, we're eating. And I can't quite remember what we were talking about, but I sure remember where it ended up. And he was saying hey, when we move and get the land and everything, I don't want us to not hang out because y'all are going to bed so early. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, because I go to I guess I should say when my daughter goes to bed, usually before 8, I try to anyway, I'm usually showering and going to bed too. I'm done. And he's like, yeah, it's we don't even hang out. And when she was a newborn, I overextended myself. I tried to dress myself up, kind of look human again. Maybe not the first 2 months I didn't, but, I would try to get dressed better and make sure the house was clean. And I would let the baby go to sleep. And even though I was dog tired, I'd try to stay up and watch a movie just so I could spend some quality time with him. Because you do have to work on it. I'm not saying that, but it was just me doing all of it. And I had like a newborn. I'm a first time mom. I didn't know what I was doing. I was scared half to death all the time. Still am. And then like I was tired, so tired, I'm so tired. And now it's like it's different kind of tired because I do get sleep, but the days are full and it's always a battle. Everything is such a battle. What clothes she wears, how she brushes her teeth, how she wants me to not help with anything, the things she wants to wear, everything. Like she doesn't want to eat breakfast. She wants a certain breakfast, but there's no time for that. She wants to go to big girl school, but she doesn't want to get out of bed and then gets mad because I don't wake her up and I do wake her up. Like she gets mad at everything. And it's fine. Like I'm trying to keep my cool. I guess I'm not the gentlest parent because I'm not the most patient person. Never was, never have been. Am I getting better? Yes, every day. Am I perfect? No. I lose my shit sometimes. Sorry, I'm a human. So all you gentle parents out there who are gentle all the time, good for you. I'm not that. I probably never will be, to be honest. Like, I'm not mean to my kid, but I do like lose my shit sometimes. Like yelling wise. I don't hit my kid or anything like that. It's more like I'll yell, because and then I have to go back and apologize. And yeah, so it's just been particularly difficult lately. And anyway, back to what I was saying. So I said all that because when we had this discussion, we didn't fight or anything because I didn't really even comment because it was just too absurd. Because that particular day, he's telling me, I want to hang out like in the evenings. Y'all are so tired and blah, blah, blah. And all of this about him wanting to hang out and spend time with us, which is sweet, right? Sounds sweet. But in my brain, I'm thinking to myself, okay, yeah, I hear you. But this morning when I woke up with Quinn and I had to get her dressed and ready for school. And it was a battle from the moment my eyes opened until I dropped her off. You laid in bed. Okay, you didn't help with any of that. Just like you don't help with the lunches and everything. Like, I do all that stuff. And I'm not complaining I'm just saying, like, I do all that stuff. Fairies don't come in and do all that, or elves or whatever. They don't come in and do all that stuff for me. So at the end of the day, when I'm fucking tired, there's a fucking good reason for it. Okay? Because while you were sleeping and resting, and yeah, you worked and thank you for that, but you also probably got on the couch and took a little nap at lunch because he works from home sometimes. And it's just kind of like absurd, like I said. And I didn't even say anything because I know reality. I know like my own reality. So something that has come to my attention in this household, which I love, I do, but the dynamics are a little fucking off, okay? But it was worse when I was trying to convince people in this house of my reality. That sounds insane, but unfortunately, it is true and a real thing for a lot of people. So if I'm tired at the end of the day and someone thinks that there's no reason for that, it's really not my job to convince. And that's what I was doing. Like, that's what I kept doing. I was expending all this energy that I really didn't have on trying to convince someone why I was tired. That's insane, now that I think about it. I'm not going as far to say as I'm not appreciated or anything like that, but the emotional and physical part of, like, parenthood, it mostly falls on moms. At least that's my experience, and that is the experience of pretty much every single one of my friends. I don't know. Like, I don't know of any anyone that's different except maybe like moms that travel for work. I know a couple of moms that travel for work and their husbands, pick up the slack because, well, they have to. And it's just kind of like, but other than that, no, it's like me doing all the things. It's fine. It's just, I didn't have I kept trying to like explain this to Quinn's dad and it was not like registering. And I was just like, you know what? I think I'm going to not try to explain myself anymore because I know my reality. Just because someone doesn't get it doesn't mean that it's not mine. And my God, it has been fantastic. It has been fantastic to not have to justify the way I feel or why or the fact that I do everything around here all the time. Like, everyone knows that. They're not stupid. Everyone in this house knows that. It is not like a secret. They know that they don't wash the dishes and all the things. They don't do the laundry. They don't wake up with Quinn. They're not cooking her breakfast, lunch, and dinner, making sure she's fine, watching her 24/7 so she doesn't hurt herself. They all know that I do all of that. So it's like, why was I trying to convince them otherwise? Because if they think that all of that doesn't take energy, well, you're insane. So that's not really my problem, because the problem was that I was expected to be doing more and being happy about it. that doesn't happen anymore. Sorry, no. So like I said before, when I was a new mom, I would do it all. I tried to anyway. Oh, I just kill myself. And I would just I was just on all day long. All day long I was on. And then I would try to make the house perfect. If we had a get together, I wanted to make everything from scratch so that, I don't know, because I thought it meant something that, I couldn't do all of that. Like I couldn't keep up. Of course I can't keep up. Motherhood was never meant to be a solo job. And so you have this society who wants you to do more and more and more. And it's just kind of like, no, we can't do it anyway. Like I couldn't. I mean, I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm speaking for myself. I know I say we, but I just know like me and some girlfriends talk about this sometimes. That's why I say we. I'm not speaking for all women, but I'm speaking from my own experience. And I just know then doing more is not the fucking answer. And like, I used to care what people thought, like what it looked like. And it's just kind of like, why do I care so much? Like, why do I care? Like, this is my life, my motherhood. No one is going to fucking come save me, like, from motherhood, That sounds bad, but what I mean is like, if I'm drowning, it's not someone's job, like, outside of me to notice and then save me, if that makes sense. And so that's why, as mothers who are overextended and burned out and overstimulated, don't do more. Like, do not do more, because that is not the answer. I don't know what the answer is for you, but for me, the answer was doing less and doing it unapologetically. So, like, the one thing I do like is I don't like dishes in the sink, like before I go to bed, because I don't like to go into the kitchen, have to cook my daughter breakfast, and it's fucking messy. That's just like one thing. But instead of like killing my whole self to clean the entire house so I can reset in the morning, I've learned to not. Okay? So, sometimes I wake up and my house is a mess still. And you know what? I don't care anymore. I don't. I really don't. Because if it bothers someone else in this house, then they can do it, But on days that I feel good and I have the energy, I clean. I don't want to live in a messy house. That's not the point. It's just, the point is I was overextending myself so that everyone but me could be comfortable, right? So I remember I wasn't like, drinking. And when you stop drinking, and it's no secret that I was drinking heavily, you pretty much hit like this wall. So your dopamine still has to regulate, right? And joy pretty much doesn't exist. Like, there's no joy. It's just, you're there. Honestly, that's what it feels like. You're flat, you're there, and you're just hoping someday you'll feel better. That doesn't mean I was just sitting there every day, all day long, pouting. It's just like, it was flat. Nothing was funny. Nothing was sad. Nothing. It was just nothing. It's a horrible feeling. But, there was days, and I think I did talk about this, where I just sat and I didn't explain it. I just watched my shows. And yeah, there were comments, but I'm like, you know what? I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care. There's people that sleep until noon in this house, and I was killing myself trying to cook, clean, do all the things, and make sure everything was done. So no. Finally, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I was talking to, what was it? I think it was yesterday. So like, one of the things is like, I don't mess with the trash. I don't care about the trash. I'll take it out to the trash can, but I'm not bringing it to the street. I'm not reminding the guys in this house to bring it to the street anymore. Like, I don't care, because what happens is I will not micromanage everything, but I will make sure like there are no consequences, right? So like, say it was trash day, I would remind the guys, hey, it's trash, don't forget to put it on the street. Because like, I didn't like the trash being full for the next few days till the next trash day. Like, I can't stand it. But that means if I was reminding them all the time, then they could never, remember themselves. So I just stopped mentioning it. And yeah, it didn't get taken out a couple times, but hey, guess what? Now it does, and I don't have anything to do with it, What else was there? Oh, even like this morning, I always try to step in, right? Step in so there's no consequences for anyone. But now that I see what happens to grown children when you do that their entire lives, it's not pretty, guys. But that's a story for another day. But what was I? Oh yeah. So this morning, people needed to be up and out of the house by like 5, and they had asked Armando to wake them up in case they weren't. And so I was worried that his alarm wouldn't go off or something, and then they would like be late. Now these are grown kids, so not my job, right? But even my own body woke up at like 4:30 a.m. and I was like, should I wake up Armando to make sure that he wakes them up? And then I was like, you know what? No, it's not my thing. It's not my responsibility. Nobody talked to me. Like, nobody asked me to do anything. And while there was a tiny bit of resentment there, because like, I was like, I don't have a safety net. I know it's like the victim in me. I shouldn't do that, but it's there. I have to honor it at least, but not let it take over. But it's true. Like, if I needed to be up and out the door by 4:30, nobody's going to help me do that. I can't expect anybody to. And I certainly can't rely on anybody to. And that's just the truth of it, And it's like little things like that. And I just used to rush throughout my entire day, just trying to get everything done, and then I wouldn't decompress really. I would just escape, whether that was like a show or Instagram. That's like the one I will just look at funny stuff all day. That's what I use Instagram for like funny animal videos. But it's almost like I wasn't being like a human being. I was being a function. I was just functioning, right? I was just, okay, I wake up, I do the things, I go to sleep. Wake up, do the things, go to sleep. And I wasn't really living. And I wouldn't say I'm exactly living right now, because I've only become aware of this for a little while, but I just go through the day. And this wasn't just about like the dopamine regulation and all of that. It was just like the way I lived. My days were functioning, doing the things, and going to sleep. There was no real depth, if that makes any sense. And, I struggle with anxiety and everything like that. But it got to a point where I was just doing the things and trying just to not live in terror every day. And it's just a battle. My life, it still is, and I don't want to live in that battlefield anymore because that's not life. And there's so much more to it. But I only just recently realized, like, I was functioning and I wasn't being like a human being. And I don't even know if that makes sense. But once I came to that realization and just the way that I managed everybody's emotions, and I was just kind of anticipating everybody's needs, and it's abandoning anything that I needed for everyone else's sake. And that's a big one still, but it's just, it's just an ongoing thing. And I also remember, like, it's funny, I came to this realization and, like, I stopped doing so much. I really did. And there was one particular instance, I think it was just in the kitchen making my lemon salty water. And Quinn dumps out this whole thing, makes a huge mess. And I didn't want that to be dumped out because there's like little pieces in there and that's, dangerous. And I was just like, I had asked her not to do it. She didn't. But then later on, like, she's with her dad and he lets her do it, even though I didn't want that to happen. And then I hear the phrase we. Oh, we, like, he's talking to me. He's like, we can just put that in like a freezer bag. And I was like, the freezer bags are in the pantry. Because I didn't just create that, chaos. He did. And then he expected me to clean it up. And it was like, those little things were happening. And that was the first one I noticed. But then but just watching that day, or just that week really, and I was just like, wow, I just keep cleaning up the messes that I don't even fucking make. And so sure enough, I stopped. And then Quinn would be like, Mom this, Mom that. And I'm like, well, your dad is there, he can help. Or, well, you and Daddy made that mess, you guys can clean it up. And suddenly he was having to do all these things because I refused. I was like, no, I didn't make this mess. I'm not a maid. I'm not someone who just comes in, cleans it up just so it can all happen again. And that went on for years. So I invite you just to kind of like see what the dynamic is. And like, are you stepping in to prevent like natural consequences for adults in your life? Because I was. And just like this morning when I wanted to wake up before everybody to make sure they all got out the door. Like, no, y'all are grown. Now, if it has anything to do with Quinn, okay. But no, adults, no, I'm not doing that. Just like the trash thing, like, not my job to manage you taking out the trash because y'all are capable adults. And I was acting or treating everybody like they weren't. So that was on me. So I just kind of like stopped doing it. And then last night, or maybe like yesterday, the sink started leaking. And Armando had to go to the office, and I was just kind of troubleshooting. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I should like turn the water off to the sink, or, maybe I should just put a little pot under there until he can look at it or whatever. It wasn't like a big deal. I wasn't panicked or anything. But Quinn was watching, and for a minute there, I remember, and I have a lot of friends this way. They're very hyper independent. Like, I can do it. I'm capable of doing this. Like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm probably capable of fixing this sink. I probably am. Just like I'm capable of taking out the trash. I'm capable of figuring out most things. I am. I'm not a dummy. And I think most women are capable of doing it. That's what we do. We figure things out. We are capable. The problem is we've become so capable that we're doing all the things. And so I watched my daughter, she's watching me, and I was like, we're going to let daddy look at this sink. And I was like, that doesn't mean that I can't. I was like, I could probably figure this out. I was like, but Quinn, just because we can do everything ourselves, it doesn't mean that we should. And you know what? That's fucking true. And a lot of people might just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Why is she saying that? But it is true. I'm not saying I'm incapable. Yeah, I could probably fix that sink. Or I could easily call somebody to fix the sink, you know? Like, Armando wouldn't have had anything to do with that. But it's the same thing. It's like, I noticed like I was doing all of these things and I was like, I even injured myself once because I was lifting these heavy things because I could do it, right? And so I'm just like, why am I killing myself over all of this so that nobody has to help me with anything ever? Like, why am I carrying that responsibility? So I even told Quinn, last night or yesterday about this thing. I was like, Quinn, women are capable of whatever they put their minds to. I really think we are. We could do anything. And I was like, but that doesn't mean we should do everything. She's like, okay, Mom. I mean, because she's like 3, she doesn't care. But I was just like, yeah, that's fucking true. I was like, way to drop wisdom. But it's true, ladies. Like, if you're listening to this, you don't have to do everything. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. It is not, like, especially like stay-at-home mom for me, I struggle with not bringing in money. I really do, because I think that like I'm not doing enough, even though I'm doing everything else. And it's just kind of like, just because I'm a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean that the other person doesn't have to be a parent, because I do most of the stuff. So the least you could do is play with your kid when you get home from work. Even if you're tired, I know you're tired, but guess what? I'm fucking tired too. And just because you're home doesn't mean I get to rest. It means I get to go do something else. Because try cleaning and doing chores with a toddler. They want to help, right? What was it? I think Tuesday I had one of those days where my daughter just wanted to help. Bless her heart. She just was like, I want to help. I want to help. I want to help. I couldn't get anything done all day long because she wanted to help. And that's fine. Like, there are days that happens and it's okay. Like, I'm not saying it was the worst. But by 5 p.m., when she still wanted to help, and at this point, I'm like boiling an egg and she wants to peel it and she's wasting the egg because she's tearing it up. And I'm just like, I don't have any more bandwidth. It's 5 p.m. Now you're wasting these eggs. And, her dad is just like, hey, are you okay? And I'm just like, I can't. I was like, I'm fine. I was like, but she's wasting these eggs and I have been doing this all day. I had piles of laundry that were not done because she wanted to help. I had dishes that need to be done because, she wanted to help with that too. And it's okay that she wanted to help. And I do let her, but things don't get done. And so by 5 p.m., me and her doing it all together by ourselves, because we're always together doing it all by ourselves, I was done. And so I think after that day, and then the next day, that's when the talk where he made the comment about him not wanting me to be tired and he wants to hang out at the end of the day. I'm just like, okay, if you don't want your wife tired at the end of the day, fucking help. Don't word it as a problem that she needs to fix, because guess what? She doesn't. I know men aren't listening to this. I know they aren't. But I really hope that if one is, if your wife is fucking exhausted at 7 p.m. at night, maybe ask why. Why can't she stay up to hang out with you? Why? Is there something that maybe you could take off her plate? Or, whatever. Because maybe it's not about, maybe she wants to hang out with you too. She just can't. It's like how depressed people don't want to be depressed, but, they can't fucking help it. Moms don't want to be tired every day. I don't want to be tired. I don't want to be overextended and burned out and stressed out and overstimulated every fucking day. It's annoying. It's annoying to feel that way. And no mom wants to feel that way. We all want to be the fun mom who plays and dances and is happy, who doesn't lose their shit every 5 seconds. We all want that. But in this society where we're doing everything, no, it's not going to happen. We can't do everything with us and then have the energy to keep you satisfied too. And mind you, we're supposed to do all of this with a smile on our fucking face, because God forbid we have some kind of mood. Try having a period, guys. It sucks. Hormones suck, especially ours. So, like, I'm not being a victim. I'm saying step in, or maybe ask a question, or talk to your wife, instead of putting another problem on her plate, instead of putting something else on her shoulders that makes it her fault. Because the way he worded it was, well, I want to hang out. Like, I'm there. How come, like, you're not available to me? I wonder why. I wonder why I'm not available to you. And it was just so infuriating. And normally I would have gotten I would have felt bad. I would have felt guilty, and I would have been like, he's right. I should be able to. But guess what, ladies? No, you should not. You should not be able to, because more is not better. We're doing everything all the time. Some moms, you even have jobs. Like, I have my best friend who works full time and has 2 boys. Like, what the fuck? How does she do that? I don't even, like, yeah, I have a small business on the side, but when I say small, it's very small, because have you ever tried to build a business and try to get clients? It's real hard. Slow moving. So these moms with real actual jobs, I'm just like, how do you fucking do it? There's no way I could work a stressful, blood, soul-sucking job from 9 to 5 and then come home and be a mom. Oh my God. Like, no, there's no way. I couldn't do it. I can barely do it what I'm doing now. And I only have the 1 child. So, I'm here to give props. That's me clapping to all those moms out there, because wow, you have superpowers. You have actual magical superpowers. Because I'm telling you right now, I do not even half of what you do, and I'm exhausted. And I'm in bed before 8 almost every night. Yeah, sometimes I'm just like reading my book, and I like the quiet, but seriously, I love being in bed, and I love sleeping, and I need all the sleep. And all of this reminded me of, like, I had my miscarriage in July, and I didn't drink for a while. I thought I was feeling through it, but having that compounded stress of losing that baby and my daughter's procedure and just all of that stress, as always, I wanted to shut off the noise, and I started drinking alcohol. And I talked about this before, and I'm bringing it up again because it is so similar to what I was experiencing before, like with my exhaustion and the fact that I don't want to do anything at night, or that I'm not in a good mood every day, or that, I have resentments and things like that. And I remember I was drinking alcohol, and I was drinking a lot, like I said, and enough for people to notice, right? But did you know that no one asked, like, if I was okay, if I needed anything, or anything like that? No one asked. And like I said before, I stand by what I said. It's no one's job to notice I'm struggling and then save me from myself, okay? Like, I have the power to save myself, okay? I get that, and I take on that responsibility. I'm accountable for my actions, everything. I'm not a victim. That's not what I'm saying here. But clearly something was going on with me, right? Because nobody just drinks because they're fine. I mean, some people do like to party, but that wasn't me. But they noticed enough to judge me for my drinking. Even my partner. My partner was just mad. Like, why aren't you taking better care of yourself? You're tired every day. You drink at night when Quinn's gone to sleep. And then you just do it all over again, And it's just kind of like, no part of anyone ever asked why, or is she okay, or maybe I should step in, or maybe I should just ask. No, it was mostly just me and my friend who also drank a lot talking about why we do it and how guilty we feel and how much shame we felt, and then it was just like this thing we did together. But sure enough, yeah, everybody could judge my drinking, no doubt. But nobody asked why. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was bizarre. And it's just kind of like, hey, if she's asleep by 7 p.m. every day, why? Because moms are doing more than humanly possible. And we're managing it, but barely. Barely. Because if you're not drinking, then it's coming out in some other way. Maybe you're overeating or binge watching TV or escaping in some way or raging out at your entire family. It's not, and I'm not talking about everyone. Some people have it figured out, I'm sure. And if you do, could you email me and let me know your secret? But it's just a bizarre thing, the things that women are expected to do. I really feel that life has been made like too complicated. And I think a lot about like my ancestors, not that I know them personally, just back in those days, how much simpler it was, even if it was difficult. Okay, so I'm not saying simple as in easy. I'm saying it was a simpler time. Okay, because motherhood now, you're like demanding, like you're expected to be endlessly present, but also like super productive, right? So I got to be there for my kid endlessly, playing with them, but I also am supposed to be like managing logistics and earning an income and just responding to everyone's needs, Well, I don't have to earn an income, but a lot of mothers do, And then now that there's social media and trauma healing that everybody's talking about so endlessly, I mean, I talk about it too, but let's face it, a lot of people don't have real trauma. They're just talking. But you're expected to heal your trauma, but you're also expected to heal everyone else's trauma. And then you're not just mothering anymore. You're not just parenting, but you're optimizing, right? You're feeding and you're sleeping and you're trying to regulate your nervous system because you need your baby's nervous system to be regulated, and you want them to be healthy, and it's so hard to be healthy in this world, and so you're trying to find the healthiest foods and cook from scratch and do all the things, but there's no time. You're not given any time for that, and yet you're still expected to, right? And then when you don't, you're judged for it because everything is so public now. And not only that, because it's public, you have to be beautiful while doing it. You can't have wrinkles and missing patches of hair like I do. You can't look tired or be too skinny or be too fat. You got to work out and eat your healthy meals and all of the shit, that they post on the internet. And most of all, you're supposed to be grateful all the time because you have this beautiful child and a family. And you're not allowed to hate being alone and how hard it is. You can't voice all of that. You can't voice it because, like I said, you have to be grateful. And you're doing it by yourself, so you're isolated all the time, which is the most bizarre thing because women were communal back then. They had periods together, they raised their babies together, they did everything together as more than one woman. And it wasn't, about attention, or it wasn't about anything. It was about surviving. It was about taking care of each other. Motherhood was distributed back then. And nobody pretended motherhood was easy or pretty. Nobody pretended that we didn't fail or there wasn't rage. Instead, They knew like birth was messy and recovery was slow and rage, grief, and exhaustion. They were all expected. These weren't failures, which every day I fucking feel like a failure because I feel all of these rage and resentments and everything. And it feels like a failure, but these were all expected back then. And you weren't judged for it. And you were supported. You know, survival mattered more than optimizing, more than being the perfect mom. It was about feeding your kid, your family, about maximizing, like their health, kind of. Not optimizing, more like just doing your best that you could. And not just about having the most exceptional picture of life, or putting on the best show so everybody can see, yeah, I have it all figured out. Look how clean my house is, and look, my hair is done and my nails are done and I'm not tired. I did it. Look, and you can see it. And I feel so proud. No, it was ugly back in the day and nobody cared because you know what? Motherhood changes you. It changes you and nobody pretended that it didn't. That's the thing. That's the most infuriating thing because there was no fantasy about having it all. That it was just real. Like motherhood alters your life completely and no one fucking pretended that it didn't. And it makes me so angry when people are like, motherhood didn't change me. Well, how the fuck didn't it change you? Your entire physical, biological body has changed. And you're saying you just bounced right back? No, you didn't. There's a new wave of people stepping into their feminine energy and all they're doing is showing their ass on the internet. It is so infuriating. You're not stepping into anything. It is okay. It is okay to admit that motherhood fucking changed you. Okay? It's fine. Who cares if you're not the person that you were? You can miss her. You can grieve a life that you had before you were a mother. But motherhood alters your life. And that was acknowledged, and it's not anymore. It's not, because you're expected to bounce back and be the same person. So I remember people telling me, you've changed. Yeah, you're goddamn right, I've changed. I had a baby. That baby almost died. Yeah, I fucking changed. And I'm not going back. No, I'm not saying I handled it with grace either, because I'm not. I'm navigating it, and it's hard. Women were not biologically, physically, mentally, spiritually built to mother alone. We never were, we never ever have been. No mother was ever meant to do this alone. So what we all call maternal burnout, that's just the biology colliding with a system that refuses to support women biologically, emotionally, spiritually. Okay? That's what happens. Like, we're so far away from nature that it's all imploding if you want to know the truth. There's women who want it all. They want the job and the babies and all. I want my baby. I want to be able to cook for her and clean for her and be present with her, yes, and just live a life with her. And in a lot of ways, I get to do that. I do. I'm more blessed than most people. But to deny the fact that motherhood is not life-altering is insane. So, yes, to men that are tired or annoyed that their wife is tired at 7 p.m., maybe talk to her, sit her down and ask fucking why. And see what you can help her with. Because you just making the money for the family, it's not enough. It never was. And women, it's our job to come together, stop judging people, stop making a show of our fucking life, proving that, or acting like we have something to prove. We have nothing to fucking prove. We're doing it. And you're magical. Everybody knows that. Maybe not a lot of people, but us mothers, we need to support each other. and understand we have nothing to prove. We just need to nourish and love our babies and ourselves. Stop being so hard on ourselves. And if there's a mess, no one gives a damn. We were never ever meant to do it perfectly, nor were we meant to deny the biology of motherhood. Okay? Your body changes. You're never going to be the same. Own it. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Anyway, I know it's a little rant, but I feel better. Thanks for listening. If you're still here, thanks for listening to the end. I'm still wondering if I should do the Shame Wednesday thing. It's like I haven't like started that process, and I'm wondering why I'm stalling. Like, is it a bad idea? I don't know. Let me know in the comments or email me. I always like when y'all email me with messages. But thanks so much for being here, for listening, and I love you all so much. And I just hope that us women just stop being so hard on ourselves and we start finding community again, because I think that would just be a game changer. Okay, I'm gonna head out now. Much love to you all. Bye.